Hello Internet and welcome to this week's Pokemon Challenge. Pseudo-legendary Pokemon are some of the strongest in the Pokemon games. Salamence, Tyranitar, and Dragonite. They all have great stats and great moves, but their first forms, not so much. First form pseudo-legendary Pokemon are typically on par with starter Pokemon, if not a little weaker, but they are in the slow level up group, so they won't gain levels as fast. Plus, they typically don't have great level up moves, so what I'm trying to say is this challenge will be tough. Come to think of it, I haven't even mentioned what challenge we're doing today. But you can read the title of YouTube videos presumably, so today we're trying to beat Pokemon Emerald with only one Bagon. I will be honest with everyone, this is actually the second time I'm doing this challenge because the first time I accidentally lost all the footage, so here we are starting over from the beginning. So if it seems like I'm a little extra annoyed, that's probably why. But that was so long ago, this challenge is still pretty new to me, so anyway, let's begin. I start by replacing Torchic with Bagon, and my thinking for this was that all starters are bad against Dragon Pokemon, and Bagon learns Ember by level up, so I'll just replace the Fire type. Unlike in other runs that I've done, I did reset a couple of times for decent IVs and a nature that doesn't suck, so we end up with a totally neutral nature, so at least our attack stat isn't lowered. I give the first May fight a try, and I usually skip over this, but this time I think this should be easy, I won't even heal, and well, I lose. So I come back and try again, and this time I win just by using Rage a bunch. This one was my fault, I will admit, but don't worry, I won't underestimate May anymore this run. This is called foreshadowing. So the first real fight of the game, I don't even know if I could call it that because I lost to May, is Roxanne, who uses Rock Pokemon. Her Pokemon have really high defense, but thankfully Bagon knows Bite, which like all dark moves in Gen 3, is a special move, and can cause the opposing Pokemon to flinch. This comes in handy with Geodude spamming Defense Curl so we can deal consistent damage. However, Roxanne has a plethora of potions and an Oran Berry on Nose Pass, so even though we are dealing a consistent amount of damage with Bite and getting an occasional flinch, we are still too frail at level 14 to win, and if we take too many Rock Tombs, we no longer outspeed and cannot make Roxanne's Pokemon flinch. We can consistently make it to Nose Pass though, so we aren't too far away from winning. So I battle all the trainers I can and equip an Oranberry and try again. So we're back again one level higher. I go for Bite to start, which I'll pretty much do the entire fight, and we get a flinch. The next turn Bite doesn't knock out Geodude, and we get hit with Rock Tomb, which is not what we want to see because we need to keep up our speed advantage for as long as possible. Roxanne heals with a potion, so it'll take 2 more bites to knock out Geodude number 1, but we've only taken 1 hit so far, so we're fine. The second Geodude is up, and it goes exactly the same as the first Geodude. We get a flinch turn 1, hit by Rock Tomb turn 2 for 9 damage, Roxanne goes for a potion, and 2 more bites knocks it out. Nose Pass is up last, and I wish I could tell you I had a strategy other than just using Bite, but I don't, so you get to watch that. Nose Pass will usually waste a turn early using Block, and it likes to go for Tackle or Harden a lot instead of Rock Tomb, so if we can just get lucky enough we should win, and we do! Nose Pass only went for Rock Tomb once and missed it that, so we just needed a little bit of luck and we won. The next notable fight in this game is actually what I call May 2, and it's technically optional, but we're going to do it anyway because May is usually pretty easy and experience points are nice in the early game. Weirdly enough, for this fight and this fight only, if you choose Torchic as your starter, May will have a Torkoal, which is a way better Pokemon than the Slugma she'll have later. I wonder why she doesn't keep it. Anyway, Torkoal's just going to keep going for Curse, which isn't great, but I'm going to go for Bite, which is a special attack so it's unaffected. With Torkoal in red health, it's going to go for Ember, and it gets a burn on us, which is really bad because now I'm locked into Bite, because otherwise my attacks will be halved. We do get a flinch on Mudkip, but because of the burn, we're going to need 1 more because we can't take any more damage, and we don't get it, so we get knocked out and lose. This was the foreshadowing I was talking about. I underestimated May again. Don't worry about it though, I can just try and oh no, I forgot to save. I forgot to save after beating Roxanne! No! It only took a few extra tries to beat Roxanne again, but this run really isn't starting off well, and it's entirely my own fault. So now we're back at May 2, and I need to beat her because now it's a pride thing. We have a losing record against May this run. Who would have thought? Torkoal is up, and I hope it doesn't burn us again, but we get 3 flinches, so that's definitely one way of keeping it from burning us. Mudkip is out, and it can't do a lot to us, and only because of the burn did we lose last time, so enough bites knock it out, giving us the win. Up next is Brawly, the fighting type gym leader, and I actually can't beat him. Okay, I could beat him if I got amazing flinching luck with Headbutt. Here's what I mean. Machop is a 3-shot and Brawly uses a super potion, giving it plenty of time to hit us for a bit of damage before we can knock it out. Meditite is second, but it can't damage us because we always attack it and it only ever goes for Focus Punch, so it's easy to knock it out without taking any damage. But last is Makuhita, and this is where we need great flinching luck because it can deal 20 damage to us with a Vital Throw, and on top of that, it holds a Citrus Berry, so it takes 3 hits, meaning we need at least 2 flinches if we're going to win. Now I could just sit here and do this battle over and over again until we get the flinching luck that we need, but I don't need to. Brawly's gym is technically optional, so we can just deliver the letter to Steven without using Flash and then come back later. So the next fight will be May 3, which is typically the hardest rival fight in the game, which is great because I've been looking for a challenging May fight. Lombre is up and I'm going to set up a Focus Energy for just a little bit of extra luck, and Lombre goes for Nature Power, which turns into Swift, which does very little damage. I go for Headbutt, which deals over half, we get a flinch, and another Headbutt knocks it out. Slugma is up and it's pretty weak, so I go for Headbutt and it doesn't one-shot. Unfortunate we didn't get a crit there, and Slugma goes for Yawn, which is really bad. I finish it off on the next turn, but now we're asleep, and Marshtomp is out. I am asleep turn 1, and Marshtomp hits Mudshot, which does quite a bit of damage. The next turn I'm still asleep, and Marshtomp goes for Bide of all things, which perfectly coincides with sleep, so once Marshtomp uses Bide and it fails, I wake up and use Headbutt. Marshtomp goes for Water Gun, which isn't very effective, so it does way less damage than Mudshot, and another Headbutt puts it into yellow health. It goes for Water Gun again, but I survive and take it out with a final Headbutt. I could have easily lost there, but I'm glad I didn't. Up next is Watson, who always sucks in challenge runs, and spoiler alert, he isn't any better this time. What usually is bad about Watson is his ability to paralyze our Pokemon, which lowers speed and keeps us from attacking, which, yes, is an issue, but the biggest issue I have found is that we don't do enough damage to Voltorb, and it outspeeds us, so I've yet to knock it out without it self-destructing first, which deals a ton of damage to us and makes the rest of the fight impossible, so it's time to level up. I don't know how many levels we need, but thankfully there's an absurd amount of trainers here. We need to be strong enough to either one-shot Voltorb or be fast enough to outspeed. I think the former is more likely, and actually we need the XP, and we have to go back anyway, so let's go fight Brawly. Machop is up first, and it's nearly a one-shot, and then Machop goes for Bulk Up and heals with a potion, so we knock it out without taking any damage. Meditite is in fact a one-shot, so Makuhita is out last. We deal over half of its health and it uses Bulk Up and then heals with a Citrus Berry. We put it into red health and it goes for Bulk Up again, so now it has double attack and defense, so not good, and then Brawly heals with a potion, so double not good. We hit with a Headbutt, but now it will be a 3-shot. I go for Headbutt and I think we'll survive a Vital Throw, but we get a flinch, so it doesn't matter, and we knock it out. Hey look, our second gym badge. Brawly can be rough depending on your Pokemon, but it's nice that you can easily backtrack to get to him to beat him later. Okay, back to Watson. We're level 30 now, but we still don't outspeed Voltorb and it goes for Spark, and Headbutt doesn't one-shot. Dang it. Okay, Watson heals, another Headbutt still isn't a one-shot, and Self-Destruct gets a crit and knocks us out. Well, I actually give Watson another 5 tries, but we still can't even make it to Manectric. We need to one-shot Voltorb, so a few more levels and it should be pretty easy, or at least easier. I go back to grinding, but we're running out of trainers fast, and soon we'll only be able to fight really weak wild Pokemon. Okay, we are back at level 32 and we still can't win, but Voltorb isn't using self-destruct as much, and when it does, we're actually not taking that much damage anymore, so we can pretty consistently make it to Manectric. Problem is, we usually have too low health or are paralyzed, so we can't win. I'm gonna grind more on wild Pokemon, which may make this fight more consistent, so we may one-shot Voltorb, so we might have a chance against Manectric. Okay, I am back 1 level higher because it is really taking a long time for me to level up on only wild Pokemon. I have changed strategy a little bit. I always start by using Focus Energy, which in Emerald turns a critical hit from a 1 in 24 chance into a 1 in 4. I've also equipped a Cherry Berry because Magneton will always go for Thunder Wave, and if we heal, that's 1 turn it won't be attacking us. My hope is that if we get enough clutch crits on Magneton and Manectric, we will win. Also, I know Dragon Breath now, which is a special move, so it doesn't take advantage of our great attack. However, it is stab, and it doesn't make physical contact, so it won't trigger Manectric's or Electric's static ability, so I can avoid a potential paralysis there. Okay, Voltorb is up first. It goes for Spark and I set up Focus Energy. It goes for another Spark and I go for Headbutt, but we don't get a crit and we don't knock it out. Next turn I'm expecting a Self-Destruct, but Watson goes for Super Potion and Headbutt knocks out Voltorb, which I guess is a damage range. Electrike is up and I go for Dragon Breath, which does crit, knocking it out. Magneton is out and Ember is a super effective crit that takes it into red health. Magneton goes for Thunder Wave and we heal with our Cherry Berry. Next turn, Watson heals with a Super Potion. Ember does less than half. Next turn, Ember again, but we don't crit. Dang it. That means another Thunder Wave to paralyze us. Magneton hits with Sonic Boom, so we have 43 health and knock it out. We're doing okay. Watson is out of potions, but Manectric has a Citrus Berry. Manectric starts off with Howl, raising its attack, and our Headbutt deals under half. Manectric goes for Shockwave, dealing 19 damage, and I go for Dragon Breath because it might do more and it doesn't knock it out, but it paralyzes. Manectric heals with its berry. I wonder if we outspeed now. We don't. Manectric hits Shockwave, but we're still alive and hit Dragon Breath. Come on, Paralysis! Yes! Manectric is fully paralyzed and a Headbutt finishes it. Oh, a crit. That would have been nice a turn or two ago, but I guess now works. Now that we've defeated Watson, a large section of the game has opened up, so we can fight a lot more trainers and get a lot more experience points and head to Mount Chimney. The next big fight is the first fight with Maxie, the leader of Team Magma. This fight was actually really easy after what we just went through. The only reason it was remotely in doubt was Mightyena hit us with Sand Attack turn 1, so we miss a couple of times. But other than that, Maxie can't really hurt us. Camerupt is bulky, so it takes quite a few hits to deal with it, but with Headbutt and Dragon Breath, we can make it flinch and paralyze it, so on the first try with half of our health left, we win. Hopefully the rest of the mid-game goes well, but I wouldn't count on it. Flannery is up next, and we have a good matchup because as a Dragon type, we resist Fire type. And that's good because Bagon's special defense is terrible. Numel is up first, and I set up a Focus Energy while it goes for Sunny Day, and a Headbutt knocks it out. Slugma is up and it's weaker than Numel, so it will also be a one-shot. Now Camerupt is out and we deal over half and get a flinch, so we knock out Camerupt, taking 0 damage from it. Great! Torkoal is out last and the sunlight fades, which is really good. I go for Headbutt and Torkoal goes for Sunny Day, and I go for Dragon Breath, so it's going to be a 4-shot and it goes for Attract. Oh no. I go for Dragon Breath and the attack goes through and we crit, knocking it out. Okay, that wasn't bad at all. I may have spoken too soon. Norman isn't happening right now, just based on the fact that we don't deal enough damage. Norman uses all evolved Pokemon, so we can't one-shot any of them, so we're just taking a hit or two from all of his Pokemon, so by the time we make it to Slacking, we have no HP. And this is actually a really big problem, because other than the people in his gym, there aren't any more trainers to fight. We need Surf before fighting anyone new, and we need this badge to get it. I go to the desert north of Mauville, but there's really nothing we can do other than to try to level up on much weaker Pokemon until we can deal more damage and take more hits. I come back at level 44 and this try goes great. We're going to use the same strategy of Focus Energy and hope for crits, since we're not strong enough to one-shot, but we are strong enough to two-shot, so a crit will knock out pretty much any of his Pokemon. Spindle was a one-shot with a crit, as you saw, and so was Vigoroth. Linoone is up and I go for Dragon's Breath and hope for a Paralysis, but we don't get it, but Linoone goes for Belly Drum, dealing damage to itself, which Norman heals, but since we can two-shot Linoone with Headbutt, we knock it out, and so Slacking is up and we still have most of our health. I go for Dragon's Breath first, and we get a crit and the Paralysis. Slacking goes for Counter, which does nothing because Dragon moves are special in Gen 3. Slacking heals with a Citrus Berry, but because it's loafing around, we'll get 2 more attacks before it hits us again, and our last attack is a crit, which knocks it out. We got really lucky in that fight, but I'll take it. Now it is time for the last mandatory May fight, and it's really easy. Her Pokemon aren't fully evolved, and they are lower level than Norman's, so we two-shot everything. In your face, take that, May. Ha ha! Moving on. Before I faced Winona, I went to the game corner and bought Flamethrower to upgrade Ember. I did this before the long trek to Forestry, so the footage is in black and white to signify it was in the past. Ooh. Anyway, it's time to face Winona, and I think we have a really good matchup. Swablu is a really weak Pokemon that we can almost one-shot. Its only real danger is that it could use Perish Song, but it doesn't, and we force Winona to waste a potion before knocking it out. Altaria's up second, and it can really mess us up with Dragon Breath. but because we outspeed, we can knock it out with a super effective dragon move of our own. Tropius is up and we can't one-shot it, but it can't do much to us, so we knock it out easily. Pelipper is up fourth and it also can't do much to us, and just likes to spam protect a bunch. We still don't have a lot of health though, and Skarmory is up last. Thankfully, it has bad special defense, so one flamethrower knocks it out, giving us the victory. Now that we have Fly, it is time for some backtracking. Our next big fight is Maxie in the Magma Hideout. I actually did lose this fight on the first try because we hit ourselves in confusion a bunch, but now we have our final move by level up, which I want to talk about, Double Edge. Double Edge normally is a 120 base power normal move that deals recoil damage, but since Bagon has the Rockhead ability, it doesn't take the recoil damage, making Double Edge an extremely powerful attacking move. Our best one, in fact. Unless we use a super effective attack, Double Edge is probably our best bet in most cases. Anyway, we do defeat Maxie, so now it is time for the hardest fight in a solo Emerald run, Tate and Liza. I wish I could tell you I had some sort of grand strategy, and I didn't spend many in-game hours grinding, but then I would be a liar. Our first attempt's at level 56, and sometimes I can knock out Claydol, and sometimes I can't. Really doesn't go over well. The grind here isn't too bad, or at least it won't be for a while, because now we have about 90% of the trainers in the game open for us to fight. So I surf around all of Hoenn fighting as many people as possible, and I come back at level 62, and you know what? I am still not strong enough. I still can only defeat 2 of their 4 Pokemon. Bagon has base 30 special defense, so Psychic deals so much damage. So I level up once more and then use all of the rare candies I have been collecting so far, which is suboptimal because you should use rare candies as late in the game as possible to get the most experience points, but I don't care. There are only Tentacle for us to fight. I don't want to spend 6 hours doing this, so we're using the rare candies now. I start with Focus Energy as Xatu knocks out Magikarp and Claydol hits us with Earthquake. The next turn Double Edge one-shot Xatu and we take another Earthquake from Claydol. Double Edge takes out Claydol with a crit and Lunatone goes for Calm Mind. The next turn Dragonclaw crits, bypassing the special defense buff of Lunatone, knocking it out as Solrock goes for Sunny Day. Dragonclaw deals over half and Solrock goes for Psychic, taking us below half. Solrock heals with a berry, but one more Dragonclaw is enough, knocking it out, giving us the win. I hate this fight so much. The next story fight is Archie, but after all that leveling up, he is really easy. He's still pretty much on par level-wise with the last Maxie fight, and what are we, 15 or 20 levels higher? Whatever, a bunch of story stuff happens and it's time to face the final gym leader, Juan. And thankfully, Juan is really easy too. I one-shot his entire team except for Kingdra, which appears to be a damage range. In Pokemon solo runs, if you struggle with Tate and Liza, you struggle so much that you have to end up over-leveling so that pretty much anything up until the Elite Four after that point becomes trivial. Speaking of trivial, the last rival fight in the game is Wally, and you know what? He is even easier than Juan. I one-shot his entire team and we take no damage. Unfortunately, this will be the last part of the game where the game is actually easy, because the Hoenn Elite Four is tough, especially for Pokemon without diverse move pools. So we are at level 74 and we're going to give our first crack at the Elite Four. Do I believe we're going to win at this level? No, not really. But I at least want to see how we do. Sydney is up first and he leads with Mightyena, which is really annoying because it's going to lower our attack with Intimidate. Dragonclaw will two-shot Mightyena, but it's going to heal with a full restore and thankfully we don't miss. Shiftry is up second and I go for Focus Energy and it goes for Double Team. One Flamethrower knocks it out and then Cacturne is up and one Flamethrower knocks it out. Crawdon is out and I'm not sure what to do here, but I go for Double Edge and we get a crit, which definitely mattered, and Absol is out last. I go for Dragonclaw and it's going to be a two-shot, but Absol can't do a whole lot to us and we win. I would describe Sydney as annoying. Sometimes I'll just keep missing and lose that way, but thankfully he's first, so if we get really bad luck, we can just try again immediately. Speaking of annoying, Phoebe is second and she uses Ghost Pokemon. Dusclops is out first. This Dusclops will almost always go for Protect first, so I go for Focus Energy. This Dusclops is really annoying because it's just going to keep going for Protect, and so I'm just going to keep going for Dragonclaw, which will two-shot, but we're just going to keep losing a bunch of power points. We do eventually knock it out, and Phoebe's second Dusclops is out. This Dusclops is much more dangerous because it knows Ice Beam, and Dragon Claw isn't going to two-shot. By the time we knock it out, it hits us twice with Ice Beam, and we only have 32 hit points left. Dragon Claw will two-shot the next Bayonet, but it's just going to go for Shadow Ball, and we lose. Now you would think I would just level up, but I don't think we need to do that. What I'm going to do is overhaul our move pool. So I fly to Fall Arbor Town to go see the move reminder so Bagon can remember Crunch, a dark move that will be super effective against Phoebe's ghost Pokemon. Crunch will deal about 33% more damage than Dragon Claw. I am also going to replace Double Edge with Brick Break so that we have a super effective move against both Sydney and the Ice-type Elite Four member, Glacia. So I head back to the Elite Four and fight Sydney again. Mightyena is out first, and I go for Focus Energy to start, and Mightyena lowers our accuracy. The next turn I go for Brick Break, which doesn't one-shot because of our lowered attack. Sydney heals and Dragon Claw misses. We end up taking a bit more damage from Mightyena before knocking it out, and I'm starting to feel like maybe this wasn't the best idea. But spoiler alert, we don't take any more damage from Sydney. We two-shot the rest of his team as he just spends turns setting up. Shiftry just goes for Double Team, we actually one-shot Cacturne with a crit, Crawdon just goes for Sword Stance, and Absol does the same. Okay, but Phoebe is actually the person this strategy is meant for, so hopefully we can beat her now. Otherwise this was just a waste of time and heart scales. Crunch should be powerful enough to two-shot the second Dusclops, which means the rest of our team should be a lot easier. Okay, let's go. Dusclops number 1 is out, and on this attempt we actually get really unlucky because it hits Confuse Ray and we spend a bunch of turns hitting ourselves in confusion. We do eventually knock it out and make it to the second Dusclops, just with less health than I would like. We do snap out of confusion and Crunch deals over half, but we get hit with Ice Beam and Dusclops heals with its berry. This means that Crunch is not going to knock it out and we get hit with another Ice Beam. We do knock out Dusclops and Bayonet is out. I go for Crunch and it takes Bayonet into the red. It knocks us out with Shadow Ball, but you know what? Even if we get hit with Ice Beams, if we can just one-shot the Bayonets and Sableye with Crunch, we should make it past Phoebe. We just need to get a little stronger and be a little higher level for that to happen. Okay, we are now 4 levels higher, and I would just skip right to Phoebe, but I wanted to show this Sydney fight to show that we are still not a high enough level to be immune to bad luck, which I think is really important to know exactly where Bagon is right now. We still can't one-shot Mightyena and Shiftry hits us with Swagger, and we hit ourselves in Confusion twice, so we only have 31 HP, and because we've been hit by Torment, we can't use Brick Break against Cacturne, and we lose. Anyway, I just wanted to show that even at level 78, we aren't quite there yet. If we get through the Elite Four here, it doesn't matter, but if we get stuck soon, we will just be able to level up on the Elite Four because Sydney will be trivial. I'm going to skip the rest of this next Sydney fight, spoiler alert, we win, and jump right to Phoebe. Dusclops number 1 is up, and we know it's going to be a 2-shot. We get confused, which is a little annoying, but we still hit, so Dusclops number 2 is up. We hit ourselves in confusion and get hit by Ice Beam, so bad start, but this is why we leveled up. We snap out of confusion, deal over half with Crunch, get hit with Ice Beam, and then the next turn we crit with Crunch, knocking out Dusclops. Bayonet is up, and it still isn't a one-shot as it takes us down to 6 health. Phoebe heals, but we crit, knocking out Bayonet, but Sableye is out, and Crunch doesn't one-shot, so we get knocked out. I try once more, this time remembering the 2 rare candies I have, but Dusclops 1 goes for Curse, which isn't great, pretty much an auto loss at that point, but wait! Then Dusclops 2 freezes us with Ice Beam! So yeah, Bagon isn't strong enough to get over bad luck, which means it just straight up isn't strong enough. So I level up a little more and find pretty much the rest of the rare candies in the game, so we're now at level 82. I'm just showing Sydney again to show that Mightyena is a damage range, so we are almost there with Sydney. We don't need to one-shot all his Pokemon, but a few levels higher we would just be able to, and we'd be able to get by him every time and quickly, which saves time. Not like I'm counting time, but like real life time. This fight takes a while with accuracy drops and hitting ourselves in confusion. I did learn at this level that Crawdon is a one-shot with Dragon Claw, so that's nice. But yeah, we get by Sydney, no big deal. Oh boy, time to fight Phoebe again. I start with Focus Energy and then go for Crunch, which now puts the first Dusclops into red health, and it hits Shadow Punch. Phoebe heals, but we outspeed, so we can knock out Dusclops without taking any more damage. Oh look, our old friend Dusclops 2. We go for Crunch and get a special defense drop. I'm not sure that matters after it heals because it looks like we're doing close to 3/4 damage now, but we knock it out after only taking 1 Ice Beam, so the leveling up helped. Bayonet is up and we crit, knocking it out in 1 hit. I wonder if the crit matters at this level. Sableye is a 2-shot, but we have a lot of HP, so it really isn't a danger to us. The last Bayonet is up, and Crunch is a 1-shot, so now we 1-shot Bayonet, meaning we can get past Phoebe probably most of the time now. But wait! This is the first time we made it past Phoebe! Hey, we did it! Look! We still have a long way to go. The next member is Glacia, who uses Ice Pokemon, which we are weak against, so not great. We have Brick Break, which is a super effective move, but I'm not sure how it's going to go. Walrein is a pretty bulky Pokemon, and I don't know how much damage we're going to do. Well, let's find out. Celio's up first. I set up Focus Energy because Celio almost always sets up Hail first. I go for Brick Break, which is a 1-shot, so that's good. I wasn't expecting that. I go for Brick Break on Glalie, and... Are you kidding me? How much health does it have? 1? And a speed drop. Great. I go for Brick Break again, and... Oh, look, a crit. That definitely mattered. Hooray. The second Celio is up, and I go for Brick Break, and we do get a crit on this one as well, but I'm pretty sure that one doesn't matter. The last Glalie is up, and it now outspeeds us and hits us with Ice Beam, and we lose. This entire run has been so close, but so far away. There is a silver lining though, because we should be strong enough to level up on the Elite Four. So we should gain levels more quickly and be back to fighting Glacia in no time. And even if we don't win, I'll just take the losses and the experience points until we are able to win. It did take a while, but we made it back to Glacia. With the levels we gained, as you will see, we can pretty much one-shot her first 4 Pokemon. Look, there's one shot, a second, a third, and a 4th. So Walrein is out and we're doing well. It looks like Brick Break will be a 2-shot and... Are you kidding me? Come on! Well, that was rotten luck. Surely it won't happen the next time. Judging from my voice, that's sarcasm. It did happen the next time. This time with a full health critical hit. Now I know what you're thinking. Surely, Star-Lord, you won't get crit the next time, and you'd be right. We get frozen instead and lose that way. I honestly don't know what I could have done to deserve this. It must have been pretty bad though. Okay, let's try this again. Glacia's first 4 Pokemon will all be 1-shots. You know this, I know this, we all know this. Up last is Walrein. Are we gonna get crit? No, and no freeze. Okay, we win. That took so much longer than necessary. We've finally beaten Glacia for the first time. Anyway, last we have Drake, the Dragon Trainer. Dragon is good against Dragon, so we will one-shot everything, maybe, right? I'm not sure. If we don't, then Drake's Pokemon can absolutely mess us up because our special defense is so bad. Maybe we get lucky with Focus Energy. I feel like we should get lucky. It all evens out, right? Drake's Shelgon is out first and it goes for Protect, so I set up Focus Energy. I go for Dragon Claw, which does one-shot Shelgon, which is a good sign. Altaria is next, and it is so close, but not a one-shot, and it goes for Dragon Dance. Drake heals with a full restore, and we knock out Altaria next, so it was a damage range. Good to know. Drake sends out Flygon, and we get a crit with Dragon Claw, knocking it out. Unsure if it mattered or not, but if we win, we don't ever have to find out. Salamence is up, and one Dragon Claw knocks it out. We are at full health for the last Pokemon. Kingdra is up, and it's also a one-shot, giving us a first try victory against Drake. I wasn't actually expecting to one-shot everything, but I'm glad we did. Up last is the Pokemon champion Wallace. We have a decent matchup because we resist water moves, but we don't have any super effective moves against his Pokemon. So hopefully we get enough Focus Energy crits and deal enough damage to two-shot most things. Wailord is up first, and I go for Dragon Claw because I'm afraid of a water spout, and Wailord sets up Rain Dance. Dragon Claw finishes Wailord and Tentacruel is out. I go for Dragon Claw, which doesn't do a lot, and Tentacruel knows Ice Beam. Oh no. Tentacruel's special defense is super high, so it takes 3 Dragon Claws to knock it out, and after eating our Citrus Berry, we only have 60 HP left. Milotic is out, and it also has great special defense, so I go for Brick Break, and it also knows Ice Beam, and we get knocked out. What do we do here? I give Wallace a few more tries, and we are only at level 89, so I can just not use items and take the experience points, but it's only going to help so much. Tentacruel and Milotic are special defense tanks, so even if we can two-shot them, we are still going to take Ice Beams, and Wallace has 3 other Pokemon that we don't have moves for. So what I'm going to do, and I'm pretty proud of myself for this, is I'm going to EV Train. In Gen 3? I know, right? So how are we going to do that? Well, in Pokemon Emerald, there are berries that you can pick that increase a Pokemon's friendship but lower their EVs. For instance, I'm going to use a Pomeg berry to decrease our HP EVs, and then I'm going to battle wild Pokemon to increase our special attack EVs. For this, I'm going to fight Numel. How many Numel am I going to fight? I don't really know, but I lower my EVs by about 100, and each Numel gives me one special attack EV, so about 100. But Star-Lord, doesn't this take a really long time? Yes it does. But once we level up, you can see the difference, as our special attack stat goes up by a lot. This will allow our Dragon Claws to do a lot more damage. I go through the Elite Four one more time and make it back to Wallace at level 97. Okay, let's do this. I go for Dragon Claw on Wailord and it goes for Blizzard and it misses. Perfect start. Wallace heals and 2 Brick Breaks take out Wailord. Tentacruel is up next. Dragon Claw now deals over half, so it is now going to be a 2-shot, which is good. We do take an Ice Beam, but we're doing okay, and Milotic is up. I go for Dragon Claw, and it's not even doing half. We're going to survive an Ice Beam, but it doesn't matter. We are at level 97, Milotic's special defense is just too high, and we're going to lose. But I have one final strategy. Against Wallace, Crunch is useless. It's a special move that deals way less damage than Dragon Claw. But what if I replaced it with a much more powerful physical move? A move like Double Edge. We have one more heart scale, and I think with the Eevee training and our high level, we don't need to use Crunch for Phoebe anymore. I head back to the move reminder and remember Double Edge. I'm gonna go back through the Elite Four and hopefully we can get by Phoebe with only Dragon Claw. So here we are against Phoebe. I skipped the Sydney fight because by now we are well past one-shotting his entire team with Brick Break. After a setup turn with Focus Energy, I go for Dragon Claw, and it one-shots Dusclops without a crit. The second Dusclops is out, and it's also a one-shot, but this time with a crit. And we're just gonna one-shot the rest of her team too. Because of our moveset, the rest of the Elite Four is trivial, so we're gonna make it back to Wallace with our new strategy. Let's see if it pays off. As always, Wallace is going to send out Wailord first, and I go for Double Edge, and it nearly one-shots with Wailord setting up Rain Dance. I know Wallace is going to heal, so I set up Focus Energy. The next turn, Double Edge nearly one-shots, and Wailord misses Blizzard. One more attack finishes it, and now Tentacruel is out. I go for Double Edge, and it's a one-shot! Yes! Okay, don't get too excited because Milotic is out, and we just missed the one-shot. Ice Beam deals almost half of our health, and Wallace heals, but another Double Edge and another after that are going to knock out Milotic. Okay, 3 Pokemon left. Gyarados lowers our attack, but I go for Double Edge and get a crit, knocking it out. Ludicolo is up next, and I go for Dragon Claw, which deals over half, and it goes for Leech Seed, which isn't good as it's going to sap our health every turn. Another Dragon Claw finishes Ludicolo, and Wishcash is out and steals some of our HP. Dragon Claw deals over half, and Wishcash goes for Amnesia, sharply raising its special defense. We lose more HP from Leech Seed, and I go for Double Edge, which does enough, knocking out Wishcash, giving us the victory and putting us in the Hall of Fame, winning the run. That was challenging. We had to use a number of different strategies and needed to be almost level 100 to beat the champion. Well, we're not done. There's still the post-game fight against Steven in Meteor Falls. I replaced Dragon Claw with the super effective Fire Blast to be more prepared against Steven's Steel types and equip the leftovers you get in the post-game. Without any further ado, let's do this. I start with Focus Energy and Skarmory goes for Steel Wing, which is good. If it goes for Toxic, we just need to reset. The next turn Fire Blast hits and crits, knocking it out. In my experience, because of our EV training, the crit didn't actually matter there. Aggron is up, and I go for Brick Break, which is double super effective to the Rock and Steel type, and Aggron goes for Dragon Claw, taking out a lot of our health. Steven uses a full restore, which is good because I'll get more HP back from our leftovers, and 2 more Brick Breaks are going to knock out Aggron. Claydol is up third, and I go for our strongest move, Double Edge, as Claydol sets up Light Screen. I debate on what I want to do here, but another Double Edge knocks out Claydol and Metagross is out. I go for Brick Break, which breaks the Light Screen, and we get a critical hit. Metagross goes for Meteor Mash and misses! Yes, this is really good. I go for Fire Blast and we hit and we get another crit, knocking out Metagross. Cradily is up and another crit one-shots it. I don't know if that one mattered because usually we don't get past Metagross. Up last is Armaldo, and looking back I should have just gone for Fire Blast, but I'm going to use 3 Brick Breaks, which is going to knock out Armaldo, giving us the victory against Steven. So that was certainly a run. I'm glad to be back. If you liked the video, make sure you leave a like. I have a lot of these recorded already, so make sure you are subscribed and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video goes up. Next week, I will be trying to see if I can beat Pokemon Gold with only one Larvitar. Leave a comment down below on which Pokemon you'd like to see me try next. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.